Welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me on this Thursday, November 6th, 2025. I have a couple different stocks that I'm going to go over. Today, I'm going to show you the power of parallel channels. They are incredible. I'm also going to show you some potential day trade levels for tomorrow on NVIDIA, and I'm also going to go over Tesla. I do have some swing trade levels for both of these as well. I may go over the RSI a little bit, but for the most part, I want to really focus on how you can identify parallel channels as well as support and resistance inside of the parallel channels and what to do and how you react to them. So let's just go ahead and jump into the chart. The first one we're going to go over is NVIDIA. So NVIDIA has this nice gap fill that's coming into play at $186.26. It looks like it got really close to that level today. This would be a great day trading opportunity for tomorrow. NVIDIA doesn't move a lot. I'm not expecting a huge bounce. You can look for about $3, $4, maybe $5. And I say maybe $5. That would be my max upside. And I do have an additional level a little bit lower at $182.19 for NVIDIA. These are two pretty significant gap fills. When NVIDIA pushed quite a bit higher to the upside, I do anticipate a potential reversal. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 down candles in a row. So one more day down could put us at this 186.26 and then 182.19. Let's go ahead and take a look at a parallel channel. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to zoom out in the charts, take this high pivot point, take this trend line tool, high pivot to high pivot. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to extend this further out. One of the ways that I identify parallel channels is using a single trend line. And then I see, okay, where could some additional support and resistance come into play? And so, let me go ahead and do that again. Hit the control button on TradingView and drag this down. Okay, this is a significant upsloping trend line. Notice how price was rejected underneath this underneath this trend line. Once price was above it, this was a lot of support several different times. Then price got below it. This shows that this is a pretty significant trend line. So now if we erase these tools and go to the parallel channel tool, you take this same pivot, draw this all the way out, and extend this down, connecting those pivots. This gives you an idea of what the price action is going to do in the future on NVIDIA. If we extend this even more, give us an idea. Look at what happens. The midline of this parallel channel has been a lot of support and resistance, similar to what happened with the upper end of this parallel channel and the lower end of this parallel channel. So this midline is going to be support now that price action is above it. Right in between these levels is going to be the midline of this parallel channel, which is one of the reasons that I really like this for a potential setup. Now, let's take a look at the RSI real quick. Because there's some volatility on a popular stock, if the RSI starts getting below the 40 or the 50 into around the 40 area, into a lot of support, this gives an opportunity for bulls to jump on board and go long on NVIDIA. The really nice thing about this kind of a setup is you know that there's a lot of support on this upsloping parallel channel in the midline. If it closes below this upsloping trend line, you can always stop out of the trade and wait for a move all the way down to this the lower boundary of this upsloping parallel channel. I don't think NVIDIA is going to get there anytime soon. And the reason is we've got additional support. If we take this trend line, connect it through these two trend lines, you're getting into a lot of support here. It's going to take a lot to break this support level. Now, man, this is the power of parallel channels and trend lines. Technical analysis is absolutely amazing. So these are my levels on NVIDIA. If we're going to reshort this, I would wait for a trade all the way back to $213 for a stock like NVIDIA. Once it gets back above $5 trillion, all this resistance, all these buyers who are stuck in here will send this back down. You could probably take another 10% on the downside. So that's the chart of NVIDIA. Now I'm going to go ahead and go into Tesla. Tesla's got this, it's not at all-time highs, whereas NVIDIA, it's about 10% off of its all-time highs. but it had been continually pushing. Tesla had this huge sell-off with this spat between who and Elon. After that happened, the market sentiment was really negative, but now it's starting to rebound significantly. So let's go to the chart of Tesla and show you what I'm seeing. I've already pre-drawn this in. So I'm taking this low pivot here where price action was into some support. Price action got below. Once it got down to the lower end of this parallel channel, look at how many times it consolidated on this lower end of this parallel channel. It looked as if it was going to break down. The price action just then went higher. Look at the midline. You had all this resistance. And then when you got above, look at this support. I'm looking at a max upside of $510.67 if we can start pushing up a little bit more. I have this upsloping trend line. So this is the double top. $488.33 is going to be your first resistance. So why do I have $510.67? The reason is because that would be the upper end of this parallel channel, depending on when it gets up there. And if we zoom out of the charts a little bit more, I've taken a trend line and drawn from this high pivot point from the 3rd of November of 2021 to this high pivot at the 13th of December, 2024, when it had this huge push to the upside. This is going to be resistance once it gets up there. Plus, it would have already pierced the $500 even number. And once it does that, it can go up a little bit higher, maybe up to that 510 level. And then the euphoria is going to stop and it's going to plummet Tesla down at least 15 to 20%. The RSI is something a little bit different in the charts of Tesla. So let me go ahead and go back to the charts. Here is the chart of the RSI. So think of this as a resistance level. Once you get too high on the RSI, above the 80 on the RSI, you have all these sellers who are continually stepping up to push this down. Now, once price action can remove all these sellers, the RSI can then punch back above the 70. This would this would send the price action all the way up to this $510 level. And then once that euphoria is out of the markets, it can really drive the price down. The difference between the Tesla chart and the NVIDIA chart is volatility. When you have a stock that lacks volatility, like what's going on in Tesla, there's kind of an even balance of buyers and sellers. So as soon as the buyers come in, the sellers swoop in and push it down, and then vice versa. And so you have these kind of midpoints inside of this parallel channel. So we need some volatility. We need somebody to step up. We either need the bears to step in and really drive this price down and hit that lower end of that upsloping parallel channel, or we need the buyers to step in, getting rid of all those bears, pushing it all the way up. And then at that point, the bulls can step out of the way and the bears can take control. Right now, nobody's in control. So you don't really have a huge advantage on the RSI, even though the sellers do look like they're starting to take the price action of Tesla down. It still doesn't provide us that advantage that we're looking for. Unlike what's happening in NVIDIA. NVIDIA, as you can see, there have been like 10, 15% drops. Tesla, it's not quite the same yet. So that $510.60 level is my swing trade short level. Let's go back to it. Here we go. You could look for a move back down to this midline. On a technical basis, if this upsloping parallel channel does break to the downside, you're looking at a potential move all the way down to $380. If you're able to take advantage of this, you're looking for about a 26% pullback in the Tesla charts. That's what I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you guys for subscribing and liking. If you have comments, leave them below. If you guys have any specific charts, I may take the time and go over those for you, depending on what they are. I'd like to go over the RSI. That is one of the indicators that I use on a regular basis to tell me where the stock's going to trade and how to take advantage of the potential euphoria in the markets to reverse that, or when things are oversold enough, I can expect a bounce. Thanks again. We'll see you guys next time in the charts. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.